on WEFM 99.9.
Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in our use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
Good morning once again to all of the listeners of the Clean Fresh Sound WEFM 99.9. At this time, we are going to be conducting our interview. We have Cop Chat. And joining Roleza and I in studio this morning, we have Mr. Elroy Kwame, who is a corporal of police attached to the office of the DPP Witness Care Unit, and Mr. Josiah Descent, who is also attached to the office of the DPP Witness Care Unit. And this morning they are here to speak on the topic, the importance of witness care. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning to those who are listening online and over the radio airs. Good morning to the host here this morning.
All right. You can go ahead and introduce yourselves so that the listeners can know whose voice belongs to.
Good morning. My name is Josiah Descent. I'm Police Constable 212. I'm stationed at the DPP office. I would like to say that this morning is a very good morning for me in a sense. It's been a while that, the public, they've been asking, what is witness care?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And who are the members of witness care? And today to see that our office we organize and we are at one of the best stations in St. Vincent.
Come on.
Boop, boop. You want to say it again?
So, we here and, it's an open conversation. So,
Lovely.
Okay.
Yes, good morning again, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is Elroy Kwame. I am a corporal of police and I'm attached to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions within the Witness Care Department. And I must echo what my colleague would have just mentioned. It is definitely a pleasure to be here on the radio and to foster an open communication as it relates to witness care and to sensitize the public about what is the witness care unit and what we have to offer as it relates to assisting witnesses throughout the court process.
All right, then. So let us head straight into the discussion then. What is witness care? What is the witness care unit?
Well, in essence, witness care, and we'll break it down in parts. So witness care is basically providing assistance to witnesses to make their lives a little bit easier as they transition through the criminal justice system. Now, this support could come in different ways. It could be psychosocial support, because as we know, sometimes some witnesses, whether they have witnessed a particular crime or they are a victim of a crime, it means that they could very well develop some trauma. And we as witness care officers, I'll leave that part for when I get to the witness care unit, but we would provide a certain level of service to basically break the effects that discontinue the effects that crime has had on that particular witness or victim. Now, the witness care unit is a unit that was formed at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So it is the brainchild of the present DPP, and it is aimed at, as I explained to you before, what the aims of witness care is. So that unit was created to assist witnesses throughout the process as they go through the court process. Now, there were witness care officers prior. However, the witness care unit was formed officially in January of 2024, where it saw an expansion of officers and, I would say, specialists joining the unit to cover the different courts throughout the different magisterial districts throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So in essence, that is what the witness care unit is. And we have, as I said, could boast on our expertise, specialists within the department and once we touch the lives of victims or witnesses, it is guaranteed to be better.
Okay. So I know it's two gentlemen in front of me, but there are also females within this unit.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a sergeant of police who heads the unit. Her name is Shafika Diamond Dick. And there's also a female corporal, Corporal Spencer, Nadisha Spencer, along with 3 other constables, Mr. Decent, who is here today, Mr. Telesford, and Nichols.
Okay. And I noticed that you use the word specialist, I think, like twice in your description. So what skills should officers actually have, or do you have, to be officers attached to this particular unit?
Well, every officer at the unit brings with them a certain level of experience and qualifications. Let me start with my colleague over on the other side, Mr. Decent. And I would want him to have the opportunity to talk about his experience that he brings to the witness care unit. And then I will follow up.
Okay.
So thanks, Mr. Comey. One of the main things I must say is that I've been in the field of dealing with witnesses for over 19 years. I've worked in the various magisterial courts, and I'm now stationed at the High Court. And one of the things that I've learned through the years is that witnesses, they are very important. And we at the Witness Care Unit, through the assistance of the DPP, we have now reached to a level whereby we have a department and everybody assigned to this department, right? Our main responsibilities is really to deal with the witnesses, right? So, as I said, I've been working in the field. I've worked at process office, whereby if before the witness care was established, process office is really an office where you get the case files from the DPP, and you go out and warn the witnesses, and sometimes you're going to different areas, you're going to meet different persons with different needs, and our role is really to make them feel comfortable coming to give evidence, right? I also will say that the department has always been, witness orientated in a sense. Everything that we speak about is just about the care of our witnesses and getting them to a standard, you understand, for court.
Right. It's just to follow up with the expertise. I'll just give you a brief description, a brief run through. Myself, I do have an extensive background in criminal justice and forensic psychology. And forensic psychology, as we know it, is basically a meshing of psychology and the criminal justice system. That will make me a certified forensic interviewer as well. And I bring with me my academic qualifications and also my experience from working at different departments, including the sexual offenses unit, as we know, who deals with a number of sensitive matters, sensitive crimes, the sexual offenses, and so on. So I bring with me as a high level of experience as well. And then we have the sergeant who heads the unit. She also has a background in psychology and also pursuing forensic psychology. And we have our colleague who, Mr. Telesford, who, just like Mr. Decent, have had that experience in dealing with witnesses and so on. And we have Spencer, who is a day officer who has the experience with dealing with young children and and also within this field. And then we have Mr. Nichols now, who is following up and are gaining the experience as well, and has that soft touch as it relates to reaching out to the victims, because he has that personality as
That's
well.
just about that was going to be my other question. What about
It's your turn,
personality? Personality wise as well. What would you say are some of the personality types that would work best in this unit?
Well, first of all, you must be able to relate to your witnesses. You must be able to reach them, because the fact is, we are not always going to meet highfalutin persons who are high up in society, that you have to keep a high level standard. Sometimes you have to go down a bit, because you would meet persons who have never been to secondary school, persons who are on the street. Anybody could be a witness. So you now have to, you will more like a chameleon. You have to change your skin, and you have to change. So your personality itself must be one of that you would be able to meet people at their different levels and to be able to relate to them. So I think that, and having assessed everybody who works at the unit and how they operate, trust and believe that we fall within that bracket.
Do you generally go through like training, like empathy training, etc.? Do the officers tend to go through that type of training? Because I know you come with your academic qualifications, but the emotional intelligence that needs to be there to assist with individuals, do you tend to go through that,
Well,
or you kind of get support from each other in a sense?
right. So we have the resources right within our unit, right? So we are able to learn from each other as it relates to, yes, and that is a perfect a perfect question, as it relates to emotional intelligence, because as witness care officers we must have a high level of emotional intelligence, and through that, myself, who have already have the experience within forensic psychology and knows what emotional intelligence is and how to deal with witnesses and so on. We learn from each other, we teach each other, and yes, there are trainings that our officers would definitely go through and have gone through.
Okay. Do y'all feel a sense of attachment to your witnesses, the witnesses under your care, in terms of, I don't want to say like a parent to a child, but you are there because you want to see justice prevail, but you also want to ensure that they are absolutely protected, they are absolutely taken care of. So do y'all feel that sort of sense of attachment to them in a way to ensure that their mental well-being, physical well-being, everything is protected?
Well, I will say yes. And I'll just dive into an example. For example, I recall recently we had a little issue with a witness, because sometimes these things are brought to the witness care unit, and over phone call, just over phone call. I think the witness was very reluctant to come court and so on. So counsel called me and he said, Mr. Desant, reach out to this witness. When I started to talk to the witness, it was a young lady. And I started to talk to the witness and I said, what's wrong with you? And then she explained certain things which I can't say over the phone. And when she started to talk, I could feel that something is wrong. So because I'm a kind of person who loves sports, I reach out to her and say, you ever played football before? And she said to me, no, why you ask? And then she ended up and said, well, I'm into athletics. And because I reached out to her in that sportish kind of attitude, she was very open. So I because it was a vulnerable witness of her, so I started to, engage to her, in the sported aspect. And then I break the ice with the questions that, we usually ask. And then she ended up and say, I'm gonna tell my mom, gonna come court tomorrow. I have a change of mind. I would like to speak with you when you come, Mr. Dason. And these are some of the things, you have to reach down to a level. You understand, with these witnesses, because sometimes you go into areas and you see these situations, you see the background, and you have to think on a spot the moment. You understand? Because by the end of the day, we as witness care officers, right? We have the responsibility to provide support. You understand? And you highlighted the point of empathy. And that is one of our key words in the witness care. We have to show that kind of empathy for witnesses because they go through a lot.
Okay.
Do you have regional sources to some extent? Do you have a regional network that you would probably reach out to on some, let's say you have something that is puzzling you, or you just want to share something? Do you have that sort of regional networking?
Well, we do have, and as a witness care unit, our arms are long, right? So we have our reach, and I must give credits to the interagency collaboration that we have, even locally and otherwise. Professionally, we try to have a collaboration with professionals within the same area in which we operate. Basically, so we could exchange ideas and we can learn from each other. So there's a constant growth, and that also will take us into exchange of services. Now, interagency collaboration is very important, and we see it as a very, very important initiative. And so we have relationship with counselors, registered and qualified counselors within the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, workers and others. So we're able to work with other professionals who basically, as we say, we can solve the same master, in the sense that we want justice for our victims. And we would like to see them develop to their best potential and to assist them throughout the process, because being a witness is not easy. So having the services provided to you, it can make your life a little bit easier. So we do have interagency collaboration.
Okay. Is it a case where, let's say I'm a witness, that I am assigned to a particular officer? Or is it, because I noticed in the example that you gave, you said that, was it the DPP or right, called you and asked you to speak with this particular person. But is it a case where I am the witness and I am assigned to you, so you would always be the person who I would be in contact with? Is that how it works, or it's just open in a sense?
To be honest, we are assigned to different cases. But one of the things that we usually do is that even if we are assigned to different cases, we tend to pass on information to one another. In case of the aspect that we say that I might be sick, I might be out, I could touch base with the witness and say, well, okay, witness care officer, Mr. Kwame, he will be in contact with
Okay.
him or her, for example. But we tend to want to let persons, like for example, deal with the individual on a one-on-one, a witness care officer, because sometimes you may confide in somebody already, and to just move to another person, sometimes it kind of,
And that's the reason why I asked it. So yeah.
So most of the times, I could say like 99% of the times, you might find us interfacing with, once you get a particular witness, you interface with them.
Okay.
But you might find certain types of witnesses that our sergeant, Miss Dick, she will deal with because of the sensitive aspect of it. And then, we will deal with the balance sometimes.
Okay. All right. So let's take a step back, right? I've witnessed a crime. I've reported it to the police. What happens from there? Take me through the steps that happen from there.
No, I think you're asking the question from report to court.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So let's go through it. Now, you would have reported a matter to the police, whether you're a victim or you're a witness. No, naturally, it has to go through the process. It has to go through the police's hands. So the police will deal with it. If in any case the police will need assistance, it has to go through the police first before it get to us. Because then when it gets to the court, then it is fully our responsibility. Right? So the police will deal with them. The police will seek whatever assistance that they in this situation believe that they require. So now, yes, you are before the court. The matter is before the court. Now it becomes our concern, our responsibility. Now, if that witness is a traumatized witness, or even then, let's not reach the point of traumatized. Regular services that we will provide, we will do follow-ups as it relates to the status of the matter. Witness orientation, because there's some witnesses who have never been to court, they don't know what to expect. And when persons, let's be real, when persons say court, they start shaking. And that's a reality, right? And so we are here to show them that no, it's yes, it can be a challenge. Yes, you will be asked questions. Yes, you may be challenged, but it is not as bad as you thought it would be. And we have seen and have heard witnesses say, okay, well, we are so grateful for the assistance because we thought it would have been worse. Okay. The thought of hearing a magistrate and lawyers asking you questions and accused asking you questions, and you wonder, oh my God, I don't want to go to court. So, we're here to help them through that process, the orientation process. Okay, when you come to court, you will be sworn. Okay, you may be asked questions from the accused or the defense attorney, right? And this and this and this is the step, and that's what. So we are basically helping them throughout the court process. Okay, so the process is ongoing or the process is finished. We would provide updates as it relates to the progress of the matter and the results of the matter. And then there's the aftercare. The aftercare, so we don't just bring you to it and we just drop you there once the matter is dropped. No, we don't do that. There is the aftercare process where we ensure, okay, you have gotten justice, or it may be an unfortunate situation where you feel like you did not get justice. Then how do we move forward? How are we going to put things in place to ensure that now we start building for the future? We have you reintegrated into society. If there's counseling that you need, counseling or continuous counseling, or if are these little support systems that we will provide so that we ensure that aftercare is just as important as prior or throughout the process.
Okay, so curious question. For somebody, as you said, there are some persons who are going to, once you hear court, you start to frighten, right? Does the DPP's office, do they do like a mock session with them in terms of putting them in a pretend box, 30 questions to them, from both sides? Does that happen?
Yeah. So for example, I will say that you're at the High Court. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm the post with the examples. now,
Sit forward.
Now, John Jones comes to the High Court, you understand? Witness care officer Descent meet with John Jones. So it technically will read over the statement to the witness, right? We are not coaching them or anything, but we're reading over the statement that he gave to refresh the memory heading in court. So we refresh your memory, you understand, of the statement that you give the police. Understand, go over it so at least you could get an understanding of what you're going in to say and so on. We will explain to you, from, let me say, we're moving from that level, and we will say, okay, when you go inside, we carry you inside, we show you where you're going to stand. For example, we're going to show you the courtroom, you understand, and we will introduce you to counsel in the matter, right? Who's going to ask you questions and so on. Now, persons usually be a bit frightened when you hear you going into the box. So our role will be to, just to have a conversation with you, and I will say to you, when you're going in the box, you either swear or affirm on the Bible. So So if you swear, I always say you need to put the Bible in your right hand. And they say, swear by mighty God that the evidence I shall give in this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You're responsible to just say, I do. And then you put on the Bible. Let's say that you have your religious beliefs and you don't want to swear on the Bible. I will say to you, put your right hand, and I say, do you solemnly, sincerely, truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give in this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And then we'll stand in the box. Counsel, prosecutor will stand and start to ask the questions. Ask you what is your name, etc., and dive into the evidence of the matter. Right? Sometimes when parcels pass that level, there's a kind of calm. You understand? And you start to feel confident in what you're gonna do. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So in essence, basically what my colleague just explained there is what I would have mentioned to be the witness orientation process. That is what it is called and considered. But as beautifully explained by my colleague, that is what it is.
Okay. And so Dianna just now, one more question before this. So you mentioned about reading over the statement to them, but do they get a copy of it? Yes. Can I get a copy to walk with too?
Yes, you can get a copy to refresh your memory, because one of the things is that your statement, you signed to it. So at least if you need to refresh your memory about what you said, because that same document will be used in court. You understand? By defense
will be used against you.
Yeah, defense counsel. You understand? Because what you said to the police at first when the incident happened, so is a document that you could get.
Okay.
Do you have different types or categories of witnesses?
Well, I mean, you will be able to categorize them. No, right? So there are some witnesses. Okay, I've experienced a crime, or I've seen, or I've been a victim of a crime, and I just want the process over. I just want the process over with, and that's that. Then we move up. Then there are some witnesses who have been affected so much that even their mentality, they are so distorted. So then we have those as the vulnerable witnesses, right? And we move up. There are different levels. So Derek, so once you have interacted with a witness, you will make an assessment of that witness. So you will know what their individual needs are. And so once you know what their individual needs are, you know how to provide that service to them. So we don't have, all witnesses are not the same. There's some moving from the smaller level to the higher level as it relates to their needs and what they require from the system.
Okay. All right. So I think that we can take an ad break right here, and we will be back to finish up the interview. Listeners, remember, when we come back, you can call us if you have questions, 457-9997 on WhatsApp or on our direct line. But for now, we are taking an ad break. We'll be right back.
Let's get your laundry clean and fresh with the widest range of washing machines and dryers in SVG. At Singer, choose between our West Point and Speed Queen brands with an array of washing machines with payments starting as low as $92 per month. Your laundry room wouldn't be complete without a Whirlpool or Speed Queen electric or gas-operated dryer, saving your energy consumption. Also in stock is our West Point washer-dryer combo for only $136 per month. One machine that does the work of two. No need to change machines. Just toss in your laundry and forget about it. Whether your preference in machines is top loading or front loading, whether you want a 9 kilogram or a larger 15 kilogram washer, whether you're looking for a gas or electric dryer, we've got it all at Singer. Visit us today and get the washing machine and dryer that's perfect for you. Singer, your family company.
Here's your chance to win more money. Yes, more money from the National Lotteries Authority. Now offering 4 new InstaCash games. Visit your closest lotto agents and win cash instantly. There's Tic Tac Cash for $2 with a top prize of $2,000. Ask for any of our 3 instant jackpot games. Win a top prize of $2,500 with an instant jackpot $2 game. You can purchase a $3 instant jackpot ticket offering a top prize of $5,000. And there's instant jackpot for $5 with a top prize of $10,000. Get your tickets today. InstaCash, so easy to play.
This Friday, All roads lead to the Calico Hardcore for the launching of the Macadam. We're talking about St. George's Carnival launch party. Starting time 8 p.m. Come witness lots of local artists, get DJs, lots of food and drinks on sale. So this Friday, the St. George's Carnival Committee launches of their carnival at the Calico Hardcore. You don't want to miss this. This is not ordered by the CDC. Vince Mars 2025.
Have you ever heard about Logs Cash and Carry? Well, let me tell you, Logs Cash and Carry provides retail products at affordable prices, making them competitive with major supermarkets. Logs Cash and Carry also provide wholesale on some products, mainly from Log Enterprises. You can get toiletries, cleaning supplies, shortening, margarine, wholesale drinks, and canned goods at competitive prices. Logs Cash and Carry is located at the top of Fountain Stretch, VG Highway. Our opening hours are Mondays to Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Logs Cash and Carry. We look forward to serving you.
WEFM is SVG.
Cop Chat. You've got questions for the police? They're here to give you the answers on WEFM 99.9.
The world has become such a cruel place. Something is wrong with the human race. Preacher man say it's wonders and signs. We are living in the end of times. Where is the love we once used to know? Where is the kindness we used to show? The heart of man is so full of hate. Let's make a change before it's too late. Too much killing, too much blood spilling. Each and every morning, it's weeping and mourning. We've got to stop all the crimes, erase the violence, let our voice be heard. We can't sit in silence. The hope of tomorrow is in no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
And we are back with our Cup Chat discussion here on WEFM. This morning we have in studio Mr. Elroy Kwame, Corporal of Police, attached to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Witness Care Unit, and Josiah Descent, who is also attached to the Office of the DPP and the Witness Care Unit. And we are speaking on the topic, the importance of witness care. So, my first question, how do you, your word is reintegrate the witnesses back in the word that you use after all is right? So after everything is done, case is settled, they have to go back to their normal lives. So how do you, facilitate that process? Well, as much as you can give to us.
Well, as you said, as much as we can give to you. Mm-hmm. But as I mentioned to you before, and as early up in the conversation, each witness will have, their situations are dynamic, meaning that there's no one witness who has the same.
We have a caller, so.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning to the panel.
Morning.
Good morning.
Officers, yeah. No, the officers, they are allowed to deal with witnesses.
Yes, the deal with witnesses, I'm
asking if you're allowed to deal with the defense witnesses.
Or defense witnesses?
Yeah.
You're asking if we are responsible for defense witnesses?
So interview defense witnesses in a high court.
Well,
Oh, you want to answer, Mr. Descent? Go ahead.
what I can say is that I will say defense have 2 or 3 witnesses, right? The judge might ask the witness care unit to help locate these witnesses, for example, for court on another day. So our role might be to go and locate, you understand, and get them to court from a defense standpoint.
So many times you're not allowed. So, well, you won't be able to say exactly what evidence they right now give.
No, please,
Right.
we won't be able to say because it's the defense witnesses.
But to follow up, even the service, this level of service or the details of the services that we would provide, it will not be the same as the prosecution's witnesses. We are responsible for the prosecution's witnesses, the matters, persons who have witnessed a particular crime. On a different case, on a different end, different end of it, the defense witnesses are usually taken care of by the defense because they form part of the defense case. So I don't think it's a situation where they are not covered. However, we are mostly responsible for the prosecution's witnesses.
Where you all are attached to CID?
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Witness Care Department.
Okay.
Okay.
So you don't wear a uniform?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right, I'm listening all the time, and you're doing a good job for the time being.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kwame, so you were talking about reintegration.
Right, so we're talking about reintegration. Now, as I said, each situation is dynamic for the witnesses. And so definitely their needs will be different. So based on an assessment of their needs and what are required for them to be reintegrated, for them to be a part of society, functional, normal citizens of society, then it will be done on an individual basis.
All right, so let's take 2 questions that are on the live one. The first question is there anything in place for vulnerable witnesses who do not want to attend court?
Well, there are measures in place. Now, there may be persons who are in a situation where they're not comfortable in being at the court. And let's go down. Maybe it's a child at a tender age or vulnerable age. And remember, we talk about persons who have been affected by sexual crimes or different type of crimes. For whatever reason or not, then they may not be able to. It's not that they just don't want to, but being in the court will hamper the way they are given their evidence and the quality of their evidence and even their mental state. Then there are means and ways and there are measures that can be put in place, whether it's to give you evidence via live link or they're what we call special measures. And special measures, as it would indicate, are measures that are put in place to ensure that the witness is comfortable and could be able to perform at their highest. It is not to say that they will not be able to be questioned and whatever. The natural judicial process will take place. It's just that we are just meeting that particular need of the witness to be able to give their evidence to the best of their knowledge and ability.
Okay. And the other question on the live is, if someone is in a position to write their own statement, is that permitted?
Yes, from the investigative standpoint, persons are given the opportunity to write their own statements, and we've seen it over the years. Persons, let's for example, there's some teachers, English teachers. I tell you, English teachers, they love to write their own statement, And if an officer writes their statement for them, they will read it to ensure that everything is spelled correctly and the
Punctuation
subject and verb
marks.
agreement and, all, and all that.
I totally understand
And that's on the lighter side of it. But there are persons who definitely elect to write their own statements, probably because they feel that they can express how they feel throughout that statement, and from a little guidance of the officer, because the officer will know exactly what he needs for the ingredients of his statement so we could classify the crime. So yes, definitely they're able to, and the law permits it.
Okay. I have a question. It came up in something that you said, but so it's not so much a case of, well, a witness, but a victim. If the alleged perpetrator doesn't have a defense lawyer, they are acting in their own accord to a thing. Can they actually cross-examine the victim?
Yes, they can ask questions. That's just part of their rights, right? Because remember, an allegation is being brought against them, so they have the opportunity to question whomever witnesses that comes before them, who are substantiating that allegation. So if somebody comes and say that somebody rapes them, then that accused can definitely ask them questions. Right, so they're acting in their own accord. They are like their very own lawyers, so they have that opportunity to ask questions.
So the victim in this case, would they fall under your care in a sense? Because if they're told in advance that there isn't a defense lawyer, that I am going to be asked, cross-examined by my alleged perpetrator, would I fall under your care in terms of?
Just to elaborate a bit on what Corporal Kwame said. Right, from the High Court standpoint, it's a very sensitive matter in a sense, because sometimes you find that the virtual complainant in the matter, you understand, might not want to even listen to the defendant. What I know happen is that the judge, sometimes there's other measures in place whereby judge could call in a defense counsel to deal with that witness specifically.
Okay.
You understand? Because you might find that, because that's a sensitive part of that matter. You understand? So there's procedures whereby the court might appoint a defense counsel to deal specifically with that.
Okay, lovely. Okay, lovely.
Correct, and that's lovely put by Mr. Vincent.
Okay. All right. So we know that this is a tricky topic, I suppose, for discussion, right? But in SVG, we need to have witnesses coming forward so that they'd be able to, so that we can see the justice system working the way in which that it should. What advice would you give to persons who have been the witnesses of crime? And what advice or what reassurance can you give to persons that if they come forward, that to the best of your ability as officers within this unit, that they will be looked after?
Well, just to say that the witness care unit is, in every sense of the word, what it is, and what our services that we provide is in line with what our name says. So, yes, we understand that St. Vincent is small, and we understand. But what we're saying, that the purpose of the witness care unit and why the witness care unit was formed, it is definitely to look out for the best interest for all witnesses in every aspect, okay, imaginable. So that is in essence what we want to reassure the public, is that the witness care units within the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions are here to take care of you, in the sense that we look out for your best interests, that to ensure that you are, one, safe, and you're able to give your evidence in a safe and efficient manner. And when you're reintegrated into society, that you are back into society as a functional person of society.
So apart from the reluctance to testify, what are some of the challenges faced by your unit? By the way, is reluctance to testify your biggest challenge?
So, Vincent, you want to follow up with that?
Well, what I can say, witness reluctance due to stigma and fear, right? So you know, for example, the justice system, you know, a lot of people might have the ideas, you know, and sometimes because you have the ideas about it, right? If you're not properly briefed, right, you might not understand. But some of the challenges that we face is like logistical, right? Sometimes we might not have the resources. But what I could tell you, I say sometimes we might not have the resources, but since this unit was formed, one of the issues we had before was transportation, right? And transportation is provided right now. You know, we also get the assistance with our cell phones, you know, to call witnesses and so on. So as the challenges are encountered, then our office, in a sense, DPP, she solved them in a sense. So I could tell you right now is that right now I could say most of the challenges that we faced, you know, they've been dealt with day by day.
Okay.
And I feel compelled to follow up. I feel compelled to follow up because some of the reasons why persons are reluctant is because they feel as though it's a system that was recently created. Yes, there have been witness care officers, but now on a larger basis, now we're able to reach more and to provide more services. And some persons may not want probably did not want to come forward because they feel that there's not enough services that are there for them. They come through the process and they feel like they're alone, but really and truly they're not alone because they have the witness care officers to look out for them. And so we have persons like myself who are qualified to provide psychosocial support, and even in cases where I feel like their needs are greater, then we have the interagency collaboration where I could reach out to a council within the different ministry, and so we can provide that as well. Even what my colleague mentioned, the transportation, that was solved. We have the transportation. We could take you and bring you to court and drop you back
Tinted
safely.
vehicle, right?
Yeah,
Fully tinted vehicle.
Fully,
I was gonna ask you.
yes, very discreet.
Okay.
Right? So we have thought about all the different measures that are in place, that we could put in place to ensure the best outcome possible as relates to witnesses, even in situations where, they may not be able to come to court because they don't have a shirt or a pants or whatever the case is. That is in no way bribery or to coerce them in any way, but is looking at their needs. What are their needs? You need to come to court, you have nothing. Then what are we going to, how can we assist you in that process? If you need a pants, a proper pants or proper shorts, that can be provided to you, right? To come to court, that is no problem. We can assist, right? You feel like I can't deal with this because I'm so stressed out, the crime would have affected me in some way, then there's psychological support as well.
I mean, it's a witness care unit, so I'd expect that all of those would come into play. So that's good. That's good.
Interesting. I didn't even think of it down to that level. Like, I mean, really and truly, if I don't have clothes to wear, I ain't going anywhere. So, yeah, I mean,
Just
very
express
good.
that.
Yeah.
When we reach out to you, when a member of the witness care unit reach out to you, at least be honest
and be open.
and be open.
And put away your pride as well. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Angels, and good morning, officers.
Good morning.
First, I would just like to commend and congratulate the DPP for bringing into bear this unit.
Yes.
Because over the years we have been having problems with witnesses, some witnesses. And first, I must say that I'm retired Commissioner Charles.
Yeah, well, from the time you say we know.
Yes, one of the things that, especially in some rape cases, especially, victims sometimes under a lot of stress and under threat because the perpetrator sometimes threatens these witnesses and so on, these victims, and they're very reluctant to go to court. So with the coming into being this unit, it is very, very interesting in terms of justice in St. Vincent and Grenadines, and the office of the DPP and the DPP herself must be commended for this move. Now, as I said, you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work, and angels as usual.
Thank you so very much.
You too. Have a good one.
Sentiments.
Well, I think that we've come to the end of the interview. Roleza, you have more questions?
Nah, I think, y'all did a good job this morning.
We are very satisfied that we came here and we left the hosts dumbfounded.
Yeah, once I don't have any other questions, you know you did good. All right. All right. But what we can do at this time is allow you the opportunity to give your final thoughts, right? Because as we said before, having witnesses is very important. But we also need for persons to know that in playing their part, they are also helping with the justice system. So we hand the final thoughts over to you. I don't know if you're pulling rank this morning or pulling rank.
So I just want to use the opportunity
We have a call, so let's take the call and then we'll wrap up. All right. Hi, caller. You have 30 seconds.
Okay, I don't think that is enough. I'd just like to ask the question: Is the protection is the same as a protection unit, the unit you are talking about, witness protection? You talk about witness care. Is it the same as a witness protection unit?
So, caller, witness care, as it says, and good morning to you. It is in every sense of the word caring for the witness.
And what at the end of the trial, the witness is on his or her own again?
Sorry?
At the end of the trial, what happens to the witnesses?
Right. So we have the aftercare. We have the aftercare provision. So as I would have mentioned prior, that based on the assessment, no, we don't leave our witnesses just like that. After the matter done, the witness done, everything done. No, we don't do that. We find creative ways to ensure that they are properly reintegrated back into society.
But I was really concerned about their safety.
Right. So even the safety, we even take into consideration these things.
All right. So in essence, witness can encompasses all of it. All right.
It does.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. I see we have somebody calling. You want to?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, call on. All right.
Right. So we just want to reassure St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the persons listening that witness care unit is here. Now, it is a system that, we're in a society where it's evolutionary. So we move on, we learn, and we add to what we can, the services that we are providing, we add to that. So at least we know that we are taking into consideration every aspect of what our name says, witness care. Okay, so I just want to reassure the public that we have their best interests at heart. And we know justice must not only be done, but seen to be done. And so part of doing that, we have to take care of the witnesses. Okay, we don't want, if there's any situation where you feel as though, something is bothering you, you have witness care officers that you can reach out to. As a matter of fact, witness care officers will reach out to you. And if in any follow-up, you can also reach out and provide that information. So the Office of the DPP is saying we have put something in place to ensure that witnesses are taken care of and are comfortable. And we are encouraging you, once you have any concerns, you let the witness care officers know, so at least we can know how to help and assist you. It's been great, and it's been a pleasure being here on this program, speaking with these two beautiful hosts, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, on this very sensitive and important topic.
Thank you. Oh, you're not saying anything?
Well, you see, the corporal already said a lot, right? But what I'm going to say is that, the witness care unit is here to stay, right? And we're going to be doing a lot more programs like this. And we're going to be doing more follow-ups in different areas, because we know that in everything that we do, there's strengths and weaknesses. You understand? So we're going to continue to provide the service to St. Vincent and Grenadines, and also we're going to reach out more, because persons need to know that the witness care is here.
Right.
Oh, wait, I gotta add, this question just came to me. Do you do witness care for children as well?
Yes, and children as it relates to as children as we know it, they are more of the vulnerable fall apart of more the vulnerable population that we deal with, and a lot of the sexual offenses within St. Vincent and the Grenadines are perpetrated against children, and so because of that, we have the expertise within our department, i.e., myself and the sergeant and so on, that who can deal with, are qualified and have the experience to deal with victims of different ages. As I mentioned, I've worked at the sexual offenses unit for years, and I've had to deal with victims who are children, vulnerable witnesses, and so on. And so I bring that experience as well as my academic qualifications, and all the other officers within the unit are just as qualified to deal with them. As I mentioned before, we are experts.
And on that note,
This brings us to the end of our interview discussing the topic, the importance of witness care. And we were speaking with Corporal 933 Kwame and Constable 212 Decent, attached to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions Witness Care Unit. Thank you, gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so very much for having us.
You're welcome.